everyone, my name is Ms. Vizone, and today we're going to be talking about percentages and their relationships with fractions, decimals, and converting between the three. Alright, so what is a percent? Percent means per 100, right? Cent, like a cent is a penny, right? There's 100 pennies in, there's 100 cents in a dollar. A century is 100 years. So that's what cent means. It's an amount out of 100. So for example, if we're talking about 55% of the freshman class are female, that means if there are 100 female, 55 of them are female. There's 100 freshmen, 55 are female. If we're talking about 20%, say something costs $20, or sorry, say something costs $100, it's 20% off. You're saving that $20. Right? So out of every 100, you're taking 20 of it, or whatever that percent is. Watch the original Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and there's the worst percent lesson I've ever seen in my life in it. It amuses me as a math teacher. Alright, so how do you write a percent as a fraction? Well, if a percent is out of 100, all we're going to do is write it as 33 per 100. And then try to simplify. Can you simplify that fraction? Nope. We're done. Number 2, 45%. 45 per 100. This one we can simplify. What can I divide the top and bottom by? Hopefully you said 5. 45 divided by 5 is 9. 10 divided by 5 is 20. And that's it. This one's a little trickier. We're putting it's 0.02 out of 100. Now, we don't like it that it's 0.02. We don't like decimals in our fractions. So we want to get rid of that decimal. To get rid of that decimal, we want to move it over 1, 2. But whatever you do to the bottom, whatever you do to the top, you do to the bottom. So we need to also move the 100ths decimal over 1, 2. So what we end up getting is 2 out of 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 out of 10,000, and then we can divide the bottom and the top by 2. So we end up getting 1 out of 5,000. So 0.02% is pretty small. Okay. And notice we moved the decimal twice. All right, 320%. That's 320 out of 100. All right, now we can simplify this. Now something that a lot of students don't do, that I have, when you see zeros in the top and the bottom at the end, you can just cross them off. Think that you're dividing by 10 technically, but you can just cross them off. It makes life easier. So 32 over 10, what can we divide by? 2? So that's 16/5. Now notice, 16/5, that's an improper fraction. Is that a problem? It's not. 320% is more. This happens, say, when a store gets in a piece of clothing. They mark it up by 320%. So instead of it, if they spend $10 on it, they're going to multiply it by 16/5, which is about 3. Right? If it was $10, they're going to charge you 30. So that's what this means. All right, so that's writing a percent as a fraction. So the next one, we're going to write a percent as a decimal. Now there's 2 ways to do this. Personally, I think the easiest is to just move the decimal. All right. Think about decimals for a second. If I have 1.2345. What is the 2? What place is that? This is the tenths. This is the hundredths. So that 3 represents the hundredths. So out of 100. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to take the percent and we're going to move the decimal to the right twice so it turns into hundredths. If that makes sense. I lied, we're going backwards. We're going left. Sorry. So 18 out of 100, if you divide 18 by 100, you just get 0.18. All you're really doing is moving the decimal 1, 2 to the left, right? Because we're actually going to the 100 place. It's over here. 2, 3. So we're going to the hundreds place. So we're going the opposite direction. Sorry, I totally messed that up. So 0.18. How about number 6 then? So my invisible decimal point is right here. Basically think of it as I'm dividing by 100, so I'm making my number really small, 0.75. Making my number really even smaller than it already is, so move it once, twice, 0.0004. 515. Move it twice. 1, 2, 5.15. And don't leave it like this. I always have students leave it like that sometimes, and I'm like, I don't know where your desk is. Do you want it there? Do you want it there? Do you want it there? Make sure you rewrite it. 5.15. So percent, we move it to the left. Okay, so next, we're going to write a fraction as a percent. Couple ways to do this. Personally, I think the easiest way to do this is to turn it into a decimal and then into a percent. But I'm going to show you both ways. There's 2 ways of doing this. The first thing that I would do is I'm going to turn this into a decimal. So 2/5 is really 5 into 2. How many times does 5 go into 2? Doesn't go into 2, but it goes into 20, so 0.4. So I have 0.40, and then 0.40 into a percent, 1, 2, is 40%. So I turned it into a decimal, and then I just did the opposite of what I did before. So we're going to turn the decimal into a fraction, into a percent. Oh my god, I'm sorry. The other way is I want to turn this 5 into 100. I want to turn the 5 into 100. How do you turn 5 into 100? You multiply by 20. Whatever we do to the bottom, we do to the top. 2 times 20 is 40. So it's 40 out of 100, which is 40%. This can get tricky though if it's not, and it doesn't go in evenly. So like number 11 is going to be a little harder. Number 7, I want to turn that my fraction into 100. The bottom of my fraction into 100, so it's a per 100. So how do you turn 10 into 100? Times 10. Whatever we do to the bottom, we do to the top. 70. So my percent is 70%, 70 out of 100. 3 out of 8. So this one's a little tricky. We need to figure out how many times does 8 go into 100. So we're going to do 100 divided by 8, because I don't know that off the top of my head. Once, twice, 5 times. So it's 12.5. So we're multiplying by 12.5. 8 times 12.5 is 100, so that means I have to multiply the top by 12.5. Times 5 is 15, carry the 1, 7, 37.5. So it's 37.5%. Again, this can get tricky because if the number doesn't go in nice. Alright, last one. What do I need to turn 2 into 100? 50 times 50 times 50. 750. So 750%. So that's turning fractions into percents. I think I should have done decimals first. Alright, write a decimal as a percent. So this is the opposite. Remember when we had a percent into a decimal, right? When I had 40% and I wanted to turn it into a decimal, I moved it to 0.4, right? We moved it once, twice. Literally, we're just going to do the opposite. And another way of thinking about this, read it from the hundredths spot. This is 27 hundredths. So that's 27%. Right? 27 hundredths is 27%. You move it once, twice. So that one, from the 100ths, 5 and 81 hundredths, 5 and 81 hundredths, and then 0.4. Move it once, twice. As a percent, our number's bigger. Move it twice, 1, 2, 0.175, 0.17, sorry. Move it twice, 1, 2, 94%. 94 hundredths. That's it. Let's see, and that's it. Hope that was helpful. Sorry I tripped up a little bit on one of those, but so it's really either you're dividing, either you have these where you're multiplying, or you're really just moving the decimal. Most of the time we're just moving our decimal back and forth. All right, have a great day.